You've probably felt it. That deep, gnawing pain that seems to creep in right before a massive breakthrough. It's almost as if the universe is testing your resolve, pushing you to your limits, making you question everything you've worked for. But what if I told you that this pain is not just random suffering? It's not a punishment, and it's not a sign that you're on the wrong path. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It's a signal that you're on the verge of something massive, a quantum leap that will propel you into a completely new level of existence. But why does it have to hurt? Why can't the leap come easily with grace and flow? Why does the universe seem to demand that we experience this deep pain before we can step into our highest selves? To understand this, we need to dive deep into the nature of transformation and energy itself.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
You see, the chosen ones, those of us who are tapped into the higher frequencies, those of us who are destined for greatness, for impact, for leading others go through a different kind of spiritual journey. We're not walking the path of the ordinary. We're not here to live a comfortable, predictable life. We're here to shake things up, to break old paradigms, and to create new realities. And with that comes a unique kind of challenge. The pain you feel before your quantum leap is a purification process. It's the universe burning away everything that no longer serves you, everything that can't come with you to the next level. I think about it when you're about to make a massive shift in your life. You're leaving behind the old version of yourself. And that old version doesn't go quietly. It clings to you. It holds on for dear life. It's terrified of what's on the other side because it doesn't know what's coming. That old version of you is comfortable in its limitations. It knows how to survive in the current reality. But a quantum leap requires you to step into the unknown. It requires you to release the old so you can embrace the new. And this is where the pain comes in. It's the friction between the old you and the new you. It's the tension of expansion. The universe is stretching you, pushing you beyond your current boundaries, and that stretch hurts. But it's necessary. Without it, you would just stay in your comfort zone, stuck in the same patterns, living the same life over and over again. Let me ask you a deep question. What are you holding on to right now that's keeping you from your quantum leap? What old beliefs, old habits, old relationships are you clinging to because they feel safe? The pain you're experiencing is your soul urging you to let go, to release, to trust in the process of transformation. But here's the thing: most people run from the pain. They see it as a sign that something's wrong, that they're on the wrong path, that they should quit. But the chosen ones? We don't run. We lean into it. We embrace the pain because we know what's on the other side. We know that this pain is temporary, but the transformation is permanent. The pain is the price we pay for our evolution. You've probably heard the phrase, "The darkest hour is just before the dawn." This couldn't be truer when it comes to quantum leaps. The moment when you feel like you can't take it anymore, when everything seems to be falling apart, when you're questioning everything you thought you knew, that's when you're closest to your breakthrough. That's when the universe is about to open up and reveal your next step. But you have to stay the course. You have to trust that the pain is part of the process. Here's something else to consider. Growth and expansion require energy. When you're about to make a quantum leap, you're shifting your entire energetic blueprint. You're moving into a higher frequency, a higher vibration. And that takes massive amounts of energy. The pain you feel is your body, your mind, and your spirit recalibrating to this new frequency. It's like a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly. The process of metamorphosis is intense. It's not comfortable, but it's necessary for the butterfly to emerge. And let's not forget about resistance. the bigger the leap, the bigger the resistance. The universe operates on balance. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So when you're about to make a huge leap forward, there's going to be resistance pulling you back. This resistance often shows up as pain, physical, emotional, or spiritual. It's the universe's way of testing your commitment. Are you really ready for this leap? Are you willing to endure the discomfort, the uncertainty, the fear, to step into your highest self? Now, let's get practical. How do you navigate this pain? How do you move through it without getting stuck, without giving up? The first step is to reframe your relationship with pain. Instead of seeing it as something to avoid, start seeing it as a sign that you're on the right path. Pain is a powerful teacher. It's showing you where you need to grow, where you need to let go, where you need to evolve. The second step is to cultivate resilience. The chosen ones are resilient. We don't crumble in the face of adversity. We rise. We use the pain as fuel for our transformation. And you can do this too. When the pain feels overwhelming, when you're tempted to quit, remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself of the vision you have for your life. The quantum leap is not just about you, it's about the impact you're here to make in the world. It's about the lives you're here to touch, the people you're here to lead, the change you're here to create. Don't let the pain stop you from fulfilling your purpose. And finally, surround yourself with support. No one makes a quantum leap alone. The chosen ones know the power of community. We seek out others who are on the same path, who understand the journey, who can hold space for us when the pain feels too much to bear. Find your tribe. Find the people who will remind you of your greatness when you forget, who will encourage you to keep going when you want to give up. So, as you move through this pain, remember that it's not here to break you. It's here to shape you. It's here to prepare you for the leap you're about to take. Trust the process. Trust yourself. And know that on the other side of this pain is a version of you that is more powerful, more aligned, and more expansive than you've ever been before. When you're standing on the edge of expansion, you feel it, this invisible force, as if something is trying to hold you back from stepping into the unknown. This is the spiritual resistance we all face before a quantum leap, and it's no coincidence. The universe has a way of balancing itself, and when we're about to shift into a higher frequency, there's always resistance. But here's the key: that resistance isn't here to stop you. It's here to strengthen you. It's here to make sure you're ready for the leap. The question is, do you see it as an obstacle, or do you see it as an opportunity to accelerate your growth? Let's break this down. What we call resistance is really the universe offering us a chance to prove our readiness. It's like a spiritual weightlifting session. You're about to lift something heavier than you ever have before. And that weight, the resistance, is what builds your muscle. The resistance you face before a quantum leap is exactly what you need to level up. Without it, the leap wouldn't have the same impact. It wouldn't be as transformative. The more resistance you face, the bigger the leap on the other side. But here's the thing: most people misunderstand resistance. They see it as a sign to stop, to turn back, to give up. They think, if this is so hard, maybe it's not meant to be. But that's just the mind trying to protect itself from the unknown. The truth is, if you didn't feel resistance, it would mean you're not pushing yourself far enough. It would mean you're still playing small, staying in your comfort zone. So let me ask you a deep question. When you feel resistance, what's your first reaction? Do you lean into it, or do you try to avoid it? The chosen ones understand that resistance is a gift. It's a sign that they're on the right path, that they're about to break through something significant. It's in those moments of resistance where the magic happens, where you have the opportunity to shift your entire reality. But only if you're willing to face it head-on, to harness its power rather than run from it. So, how do you harness the power of resistance? The first step is to recognize that resistance isn't the enemy, it's your ally. It's showing you exactly where you need to grow, where you're still holding on to old beliefs, old fears, old limitations. Resistance is like a mirror. It reflects back to you the parts of yourself that aren't fully aligned with your highest potential yet. Instead of seeing it as something to fight against, start seeing it as a guide. Ask yourself, what is this resistance trying to teach me? What part of me is still holding back from stepping fully into my power? Often resistance shows up as fear. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of the unknown. But here's the thing, fear is just energy. It's the same energy that can fuel your leap forward if you know how to transmute it. The chosen ones don't let fear paralyze them. They move through it. They take action in spite of it. And every time they do, they weaken its grip. They take the energy of fear and turn it into momentum. You can do this too. Here's a practical exercise. The next time you feel resistance, instead of running from it, pause. Take a deep breath and feel into it. Where is it showing up in your body? What thoughts are running through your mind? Now, instead of trying to get rid of the resistance, invite it in. Sit with it. Get curious about it. Ask it what it's trying to protect you from. Often, resistance is simply your mind's way of trying to keep you safe. It wants to keep you in familiar territory, because the unknown is scary. But the unknown is also where growth happens. It's where quantum leaps happen. Once you've sat with your resistance, the next step is to take aligned action. Resistance loses its power when you take action in spite of it. Every time you move forward, even when it feels uncomfortable, you're telling the universe, I'm ready for this leap. And the universe responds. It meets you at the level of your commitment. The chosen ones know that action is the antidote to resistance. They don't wait for the fear to go away before they move. They move through the fear. They understand that fear is just a sign that they're expanding. Think about this. What's one action you've been avoiding because of resistance? Maybe it's a conversation you need to have, a decision you need to make, or a project you need to start. Whatever it is, make a commitment to take that action today. Even if it's a small step, take it. The moment you do, you'll feel the energy shift. You'll feel the resistance start to dissolve, because action creates momentum. But let's go deeper. Sometimes resistance isn't just about fear. Sometimes it is about identity. When you're about to make a quantum leap, you're stepping into a new version of yourself, a version that operates at a higher frequency, a version that holds more power, more responsibility, more visibility. And that can be intimidating. The old version of you will resist this change because it doesn't know how to operate at this new level. It doesn't trust that it can handle it, and so it creates resistance to keep you in the familiar. This is why the chosen ones are so intentional about their identity. They understand that to make a quantum leap, they need to become the version of themselves who has already made the leap. They embody their future self in the present moment. They ask themselves, how would the version of me who has already made this leap think, act, and feel? And then they start to align with that version of themselves even before the external reality has shifted. Here's a practical tip. Start acting as if you've already made your quantum leap. What would your day look like? What habits would you have? What thoughts would you think? Start embodying that version of you now and watch how the resistance starts to fade. The more you align with your future self, the less power the old version of you will have. And finally, remember this: resistance is temporary, but the leap is permanent. The pain, the fear, the discomfort, they're all just part of the process. But once you make the leap, once you've shifted into that new reality, you'll look back and see that the resistance was the doorway to your expansion. So don't fear the resistance. Embrace it, harness it, use it to accelerate your leap. If there's one thing that holds most people back from making their quantum leap, it's the inability to let go. You've felt it, haven't you? That tight grip on how things should be, on the timeline you've set for yourself, or on the expectations you've built around your journey. It's almost like a tug of war between you and the universe. You're pulling in one direction, trying to control every outcome, while the universe is gently nudging you to release your grip, to trust, to surrender. But surrender? That sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? After all, we've been taught that success comes through effort, through pushing, through relentless action. We're told that if we want something bad enough, we have to fight for it, to hustle for it, to make it happen through sheer willpower. But here's the thing: the quantum leap doesn't respond to force. It responds to flow. And flow can only happen when you let go. Why is surrender so crucial before a quantum leap? Because surrender is the ultimate act of trust. It's saying to the universe, I trust that everything is happening for my highest good, even if I can't see it right now. It's releasing the need to control every detail, every outcome, every step of the journey. It's allowing the universe to take the lead, to guide you in ways that your mind could never imagine. And when you do that, when you truly release control, the universe can move mountains on your behalf. But here's the challenge: surrender requires vulnerability. It requires you to step into the unknown without a safety net. It requires you to let go of the ego's need to know how everything is going to unfold. And that's terrifying for most people. The ego craves certainty. It wants guarantees. It wants to know that if you take this step, everything will turn out exactly as planned. But the quantum leap doesn't operate on the ego's timeline. It operates on divine timing. And divine timing often looks very different from what the ego expects. Let me ask you something: where in your life are you still trying to control the outcome? Maybe it's a goal you've been working towards for months, or maybe it's a relationship that you're trying to shape into something it's not. Whatever it is, notice how much energy it takes to keep holding on. Notice how much resistance you're creating by trying to force things to happen your way. Now imagine what it would feel like to just let go, to release your grip, to trust that the universe has a plan for you that's better than anything you could have orchestrated on your own. Here's the thing: when you surrender, you don't lose your power. In fact, you step into a deeper power, the power of alignment. When you're aligned with the flow of the universe, things happen with ease. The right opportunities show up. The right people cross your path. Synchronicities become the norm, not the exception. But this only happens when you stop trying to micromanage every detail of your journey. The chosen ones understand this. They know that surrender isn't about giving up, it's about giving into the flow of life. It's about releasing the need to control and allowing the universe to work its magic. But let's get practical. How do you actually surrender when every part of you wants to hold on? How do you let go when you're afraid that if you do, everything will fall apart? The first step is to recognize that surrender doesn't mean inaction. It doesn't mean sitting back and waiting for things to happen. Surrender means taking aligned action without attachment to the outcome. It means showing up fully, doing the work, and then releasing any expectations about how or when the results will come. It's about trusting that your efforts are enough, that the universe is handling the rest. Here's a practical exercise. Think about something in your life that you've been trying to control. Maybe it's a project, a relationship, or a personal goal. Now ask yourself, what would it look like if I surrendered this to the universe? What would it feel like to trust that everything is unfolding perfectly, even if it doesn't look the way I expected? Write down any fears or doubts that come up as you think about surrendering. Acknowledge them, and then make a conscious choice to release them. Say out loud, I surrender this to the universe. I trust that everything is happening for my highest good. You'll notice something powerful happens when you do this. You'll feel a sense of relief, a lightness. That's because surrender lifts the heavy burden of control off your shoulders. It allows you to relax into the flow of life, to stop pushing against the current. And when you stop pushing, when you let go of the need to force things, the universe can finally step in and deliver the quantum leap you've been asking for. But let's go deeper. Surrender isn't just about letting go of control over external circumstances, it's about letting go of the need to control yourself. We often think that we need to be perfect, that we need to have it all figured out before we can take the leap. We think we need to eliminate all fear, all doubt, all uncertainty. But the truth is you don't. You don't need to be perfect to make a quantum leap. You just need to be willing. Willing to show up, willing to take the next step, willing to trust that you're enough exactly as you are. This is where many people get stuck. They think, I'll surrender once I feel ready. I'll let go once I have everything in place. But that's just the ego talking. The ego wants to delay the leap because it's terrified of the unknown. The chosen ones know that they won't ever feel fully ready for a quantum leap. They know that the leap requires trust, not readiness, and they take the leap anyway. So, here's another deep question for you. What part of yourself are you still trying to control before you feel worthy of the leap? Is it your fear, your doubt, your imperfections? What if you could surrender those too? What if you could trust that you're already enough? That you don't need to have it all figured out before you take the leap? The moment you surrender, you open yourself up to infinite possibilities. The universe can finally deliver the miracles, the synchronicities, the opportunities that have been waiting for you all along. But you have to let go first. You have to trust that the leap will catch you, that the universe has your back. And when you do, you'll find that the leap isn't as scary as you thought. In fact, it's exhilarating. It's liberating. It's the moment when you finally step into your true power. So you've made the leap. You've surrendered, you've faced the resistance, and you've stepped into a new reality. But now what? What happens after the quantum leap? This is where most people falter. They think that once they've crossed that invisible threshold, everything will just fall perfectly into place, that life will suddenly become effortless, and they'll never face another challenge. But here's the truth. The real work begins after the leap. You see, the leap itself is just the beginning. It's the initiation into a higher frequency, a higher level of consciousness. But to stay there, to live at that level consistently, requires integration. It requires you to embody that new frequency in your everyday life, moment by moment. This is what separates the 1% from everyone else. The chosen ones don't just experience a breakthrough and then go back to their old ways of being. They become the breakthrough. They embody the quantum leap in their thoughts, actions, and energy every single day. So how do you do that? How do you integrate your quantum leap into your daily life so that it becomes your new normal, rather than just a fleeting moment of expansion? The key is to shift your identity. It's not enough to have a profound experience or a moment of clarity. You have to become the person who lives at that new level of awareness. You have to align your thoughts, your habits, your choices, and your energy with the version of yourself who has already made the leap. But let's break this down. After a quantum leap, you're essentially living in a new energetic space. The things that worked for you before, the old thought patterns, the old habits, the old ways of being no longer fit. It's like trying to wear clothes that are 2 sizes too small. They'll feel tight, uncomfortable, and restrictive. You've outgrown them. And this is where many people struggle. They try to bring their old selves into their new reality, and it simply doesn't work. Let me ask you a deep question. What parts of your old self are you still holding on to, even though you know they no longer serve you? Maybe it's a belief that you're not worthy, or a habit of self-sabotage, or a relationship that drains your energy. Whatever it is, it's time to let it go. You can't bring the old you into your new reality. If you do, you'll find yourself slipping back into your old patterns, your old frequency, and undoing all the progress you've made. The chosen ones understand that the quantum leap is not just a one-time event, it's a lifestyle. It's a commitment to living at a higher frequency, day in and day out. And that requires discipline. It requires you to make conscious choices in every moment that align with the new version of yourself. This is why integration is so important. Without it, you'll find yourself oscillating between your old reality and your new one, never fully anchor in either. Here's a practical tip. After a quantum leap, take time to reflect on your new reality. What's different? How do you feel? What thoughts are running through your mind? What new opportunities are showing up? And then ask yourself, what would the version of me who has fully integrated this leap do right now? How would they think? How would they act? How would they respond to challenges? Start making decisions from this new place, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. The more you do this, the more you'll solidify your new frequency and make it your default way of being. But let's go deeper. Integration isn't just about changing your external actions. It's about embodying the energy of your leap at a cellular level. It's about rewiring your nervous system to feel safe in this new reality. You see, after a quantum leap, your mind and body may still be operating from your old programming. Your nervous system is used to functioning at a certain level of stress, fear, or limitation. And when you make a massive leap, it can trigger a fight or flight response because your system doesn't yet recognize this new reality as safe. This is why it's so important to nurture yourself after a quantum leap. Give yourself time to adjust. Practice self-care. Engage in activities that help you ground your energy, whether it's meditation, breath work, or spending time in nature. The chosen ones know that the leap is not just a mental shift, it's a full body experience. And in order to sustain it, you have to take care of your body, your mind, and your spirit. Here's a practical exercise. After your leap, spend a few minutes each day in silence, tuning into your body. Notice any areas of tension or resistance. Breathe into those areas and remind yourself that it's safe to be in this new reality. It's safe to expand. It's safe to receive. The more you do this, the more you'll train your nervous system to feel calm and grounded in your new frequency. And let's not forget about the importance of consistency. The chosen ones don't just have a breakthrough and then stop doing the work. They understand that expansion is an ongoing process. It's not about reaching a destination, it's about continually growing, evolving, and expanding into higher levels of consciousness. This is why daily practices are so crucial. Whether it's meditation, journaling, or visualization, the key is to stay connected to your highest self day after day. I think about this. What daily practices can you implement to keep yourself aligned with your new reality? Maybe it's starting your day with a visualization of your highest self. Maybe it's ending your day with gratitude for the new opportunities that are unfolding in your life. Whatever it is, make it a non-negotiable part of your routine. The chosen ones know that consistency is what separates the 1% from the rest. It's what allows them to stay in a state of flow, even when challenges arise. But here's the final piece of wisdom. Integration isn't just about maintaining your new frequency, it's about expanding it. The quantum leap is not the end of your journey, it's just the beginning. Once you've integrated this new level of consciousness, the universe will start presenting you with new opportunities for growth, new challenges to overcome, and new leaps to take. The chosen ones are always expanding. They never settle. They're always asking, what's next? How can I grow even more? How can I serve at an even higher level? So, as you integrate your quantum leap, don't get too comfortable. Don't fall into the trap of thinking you've made it. Instead, stay open, stay curious, stay committed to your growth, because the journey never ends. There will always be another leap, another level, another opportunity to expand into your highest potential. This is the path of the chosen ones. This is the path of the 1%. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. And if you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to integrate your leap and live at that higher frequency every day, then you will truly become unstoppable.